guys. So welcome to Conversation and Libations with Adora. So yes, I am wearing the same thing from my first video. I decided that I'm already dressed up. Before I take all of this off, I might as well make another video. And unfortunately, I didn't have time to prepare notes because this is kind of impromptu. So let's do this. So this video is going to be over how to get over a breakup. So I've been thinking about this topic and I knew I wanted this to be my first video and I should have been prepared. So hopefully I'll be good with editing because like I said, I'm not prepared. I don't have any notes or anything like that. But this is something that I recently experienced. When I say recently, like 2 years ago. So I'm just going to speak from the heart and kind of tell you guys my experience. So we've all been through a breakup, right? Some breakups hurt worse than others, depending on the deepness of the bond and relationship that we shared with that other person. So for me, I've had quite a few breakups, but I will say I've only had my heart broken 3 times. And the last time was the worst time. And I pray to God that it would be the last time. So it was 2018. It was, I don't remember the exact date, but it was in March. And I had been dating this guy. We had been dating for almost 2 years, maybe like a year and 8 months. And I was just so in love. Like, I had been in love before, but for some reason, I was crazy in love with this guy. And I had not been in love like that in forever. And he was my best friend, and we talked every day, and we spent every day together. We did everything together. So clearly, this was like the love of my life at the time. And I remember after us breaking up, I just remember being so hurt. I'm talking, can't sleep, can't eat, just devastated. And I just remember praying to God, like, Lord, why does this hurt so bad? Like, oh my God, you guys, that pain was just horrific, just thinking about it. And I wanted to get over it so bad, and I was hurting so bad. I remember going on YouTube and searching how to get over a breakup, right? So I was like, well, let me make this channel just in case someone needs to be consoled and needs some advice like I did at that time. I wasn't just on YouTube. I was on Google searching how to get over a breakup. And to be honest, guys, the only thing that's going to get you over a breakup is time. Time heals all wounds. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. Time heals all wounds. So, just a few things how I got over a breakup. I guess it's kind of like a story time. Not really. I guess it's kind of like a story time, right? So, as I said, I was dating this guy. We were dating for a year and a half. And surprisingly, for me to be so hurt and just devastated, I broke up with him. So, I will say this. As a woman, you have to know what you deserve, right? And sometimes we get with guys who we know they don't deserve us. We know we deserve better, but we love them so much, so we stay. I've learned to not be complacent. I've learned to not be too comfortable. I've learned to try to push a person to greatness, just like I would want someone to push me to greatness. And unfortunately, this was a guy who did not want to be pushed to greatness. And I knew that me being 37, at that time I was 35, we all, when we're dating, we should be dating with intentions, right? So depending on where we are in our life and what we're ready for, your intentions are going to be different. So for me, I was dating with the intentions of marriage. And I'm going to be honest, guys, like I knew I wouldn't marry this guy. Like I knew he wouldn't be a good husband. He wouldn't be a good father to my children. I don't have no kids, by the way. I just have a dog. But I was thinking about the future, and it's just like he was a very, hopefully I don't have lipstick on my teeth. He was a very impulsive person, right? And you have to be careful with those type of people. Like he was the type of person that he wanted to be a millionaire, but he had no plan on how to get there. He just wanted to drop into his lap. He wanted to do these MLM multi-level marketing schemes, throw money away. And I'm just like, okay, if we're married, you come up with this harebrained scheme, you just throw money away. Like, I'm gonna be the provider. Like, that's not how I was raised, boo boo. My dad didn't raise me to be no provider. We're in a partnership, it's 50-50 if we need be, but I'm not gonna be taking care of you. And then it was just other things. Like, he had been in a relationship with his baby mom for like 9 years. And yes, he was single for like 3 years, but I've dated two guys who were in long term relationships with their baby mom. And to me, I feel like if a person has been in like a 9-10 year relationship, even 2-3 years out of that, that's not somebody that I'm trying to settle down with, because a lot of times what I found is those men are not ready. Like, they feel like they didn't have a chance to date. They want to date around. And I don't care what you tell a man is trash out there, blah, blah, blah. He has to date around. He has to get that out his system. And I think that also was where my ex-boyfriend was as well, right? Like, I think he wanted to date. Like, he used to drive for Uber, and I remember him, and this is the conversation. So we weren't even supposed to break up. Like, we were happy. We were supposed to be going to this Georgia Tech basketball game the next day. Like, we were good. And we were just having a casual conversation. Now, mind you, another reason that I was so devastated, and I think another reason I also took it so hard emotionally and mentally, was because I was already dealing with depression from my job that I was at the time, depression and anxiety. Also, I had just had an open myomectomy. So I had fibroids and I had to get those fibroids removed. So I had just had a major surgery, right? So this guy, he was with me the whole step of the way. He took care of me after my surgery. He bathed me, like intimate things like that. Those type of things make you get closer to a person, right? Like, he was totally there for me. I think I was maybe like 5 weeks into my recovery at the time. So anyway, we're having this general conversation, just talking. And then I remember him telling me about some girl that tried to holler at him. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why are you telling me this? Like, people get hit on all the time. I'm not going to come back and tell you if you're my mate. To me, that's just kind of like, are you insecure and you want me to feel like, oh, my man is so fine, other girls want him? No. Which he was an insecure person. To me. That's to me. Just in case he see this, to me. So, something that's, God sometimes will speak to you and you have to listen. Got a story on that too. Y'all, I have so many story times. We're going to have a good time on this channel. So, God just spoke to me, and God was just like, this is not for you. I know you love him, but you deserve more. And then he had got a gun. He had, to me, started hanging around shady characters. And then towards the end of my relationship, I realized, like, I don't really know this guy. I don't really know him. He knows everything about me, but I don't really know him. And I was so entangled and so wrapped up and so in love that I didn't even realize that I didn't know him. And looking back at it, I didn't know who was in my bed. And he had no social media presence. It was just real fishy. And I feel like God takes you out of situations, right? But you have to listen to him. And I'm not like this super religious person. I'm a spiritual person, but I do know how to listen. And I feel like maybe God was saving me from something. Like I said, he had recently purchased a gun. He had started acting funny. So who knows, right? So I remember him telling me something that finally I can repeat this out loud and not cry. I remember him telling me that he cared about me a lot. He loved me, but he wasn't sure if I was his wife. And he felt like after a year and a half, he should know. And he was hoping that he would grow into feeling that, right? So that hurt. Someone that I love so much, that hurt. So then I remember him saying, when I think of what my wife is like, you're not my ideal for a wife. And you know what, guys? It is so funny because guys say crap like that all the time. Meanwhile, they ain't SHIT, right? Dude, really? You have some nerve. You have a baby mama. You have baggage. You don't have a real job. You don't have goals. You don't have aspirations. And you have the nerve to tell me that, oh, really? Okay. So when he said that, y'all, I knew it was a wrap. So I was just like, you know what? This is not going to work. I said, because I know what I deserve, and I deserve a man who is 100% sure about himself, me, and us. And you are clearly not 100% sure of any of that. And therefore, I'm going to get what I deserve. And this is not going to work. And that was it. Now, just because I was the one to break it off, like I said, I was devastated. The world was so dark. When I tell y'all I cried for 48 hours straight, I did not go to sleep. I tried to take melatonin, could not sleep, could not eat. And it was about a week before I talked to him again, right? Because at this time I'm missing him. I don't want to go back because I know it's not right, but I'm missing my friend and I'm missing that companionship. And that's another thing. Like when a person is so much in your life and there's so much of your routine, sometimes it's not even really the person that we miss, it's the routine, right? So it's kind of like, oh my God, I went from being with someone all the time till now I'm by myself. What am I going to do? I forgot how to be by myself. So we did try to talk. We met up one time afterwards. And it's crazy because when we met up, maybe like a week and a half after we broke up, he came over and he didn't even look the same to me. It was like a demon or something. It's so weird to explain because at this point, a week and a half has passed. So I'm thinking about everything and I'm just going back to situations. And now I'm seeing things clearly. And I'm like, yo, I don't know this dude. And I remember him trying to sleep with me. Men can be such trash, right? Like, you know, we broke up. You basically told me this is not what you want, but you still want the no. So, stood firm on that. No, wasn't even interested. And so, after that, we tried to talk a couple of more times. And I was just like, you know, I can't do this anymore. We tried to be friends. We can't be friends. So, that brings me to my first step: cut the person off cold turkey, because the more you have contact with that person, the more it's going to draw you in, and your heart is not going to be able to get over it. Cold turkey, cut them off. And I explained to him, like, listen, we got to do cold turkey because us being friends, talking and stuff, seeing each other once in a while, I need to get over this. So that was number one. Number two, after you kind of soaked in it, for me, it was like 3, 4 days. I'm like, I have to get out of this house, right? Because I didn't want to be alone. So I remember going to one of my best friend's house, Sonya, and I remember us hanging out at her house, and then we went out to get something to eat. And of course, you know, all you do is talk to your friends about the breakup, about the person, right? Because that's another thing. You have to get it out. So talk to someone, talk to a friend. And thankfully, I have such great friends who were there for me because I know it was a pain in the ass to continue hearing me talk about this person. But I remember us going out to eat, and I just remember crying, y'all, just crying nonstop. Like, oh my God, it was so many times I just cried nonstop. And then I remember going out with my friend Cassandra, and she was like the greatest, right? Because she was always there for me. She might have got tired of me talking about it, but she was always there to kind of help me through it. So that's another thing. Talk to someone when you're ready. Talk to your friends. Also, here's a really good tip. This is small, but I'm telling you guys, it's gonna help as well. So change that person's name in your phone, right? Because we associate a lot with words, and when we see things, it brings up feelings. So if you have that person in your phone as Bay or Terrence, my Bay, or something like that with hearts, when that person calls you, it's going to bring those feelings back up. So for me, I changed his name in my phone to You Deserve Better. So whenever he would freaking text me or call me, it will come up, you deserve better. And I know not to answer that effing phone call. Okay. So that also helped. I did go to therapy. I went to therapy for my job, but ooh, child, that heartbreak did a number on me. Now let me tell y'all what not to do. Okay, don't jump back out there and start dating again. That was a mistake that I made. Sort of, kind of a mistake, not really. Another story time, y'all. Don't let me forget these story times that I gotta tell. But after about 30 days, I was like, oh my God, the best way to get over someone else is to get with somebody else, right? Wrong. So I went on 2 dates. And the first date, I met this guy, and he was cute. We went to Stone Mountain. But I just found myself comparing him to my ex, and everything about him bothered me. Like he had small hands. Can you do a man with small hands? And me and him was like the same height. I'm 5'5". And I remember him trying to kiss me. Whoa, dude, it's the first date. And I just remember crying, okay? So you know he ran away because he's like, she's a creep. She's sitting up here crying on a date. So that should have told me, girl, you are not ready to get back out there, girl. But me being hard headed and not listening to myself, I met someone else. So, met this guy, really cool. We talked on the phone for hours and we decided to go on a date. And we went on a date. He was a really nice guy. You know, that's another thing, you guys. So, write in a journal, write all your feelings down, right? Because that's going to help you get it out. And I just remember writing everything. I also wrote a pros and cons list of my relationship, and I had way more cons than pros, so that helped me as well. Also, I wrote in a journal every day. I wrote how I was feeling, right? And that helped me to get it out. So that's another thing, write in a journal. But I remember writing in a journal what I wanted out of my next mate. And I had from the tiniest detail to the largest detail of what I wanted in a mate. So when I went out on a date with this guy, it's like from your mouth to God's ears, right? Everything I wrote in this journal, I swear to goodness, y'all, everything I wrote in this journal, this man possessed, from the most superficial thing to the deepest things, from the way he grew up, from his family, structure. He had everything. So we went on a date. We went to the Battery. If you guys are not from Atlanta, the Battery is like, it's kind of like an outdoor, they have shops and restaurants and stuff like that. So we went to the Battery, walked around, got to know each other. And then the mall was down the street, my favorite place. So I was like, let's go to the mall because shoes always make a girl happy. And he's like, okay, we'll meet at the mall. So I remember getting to the mall and being so nervous because it's like, oh, did this dude stand me up? Like, did he not like me? Like, he's not here yet. It took him like 15 minutes, but he got to the mall. And then we went out to dinner. So we spent like the whole day into night together. We went to dinner. And I remember us being at dinner, and I was very transparent, right? Because I'm still hurt. So, excuse me, I had been very transparent with this guy regarding what I was going through, and he knew I was fresh out of a relationship, so I wasn't looking to jump into another, but I wanted to meet someone. So I remember trying to hold it together at dinner. We wasn't even talking about my relationship, but I'm so broken at this point. Whew, I was trying to hold back the tears. So needless to say, he is in TV and film. He does media. He's a cameraman, so he travels a lot. So he was going to be traveling that next week. So we decided to get together the next day, and we went to the Beltline to go exercise and go walking. It's like a long trail. If you're in Atlanta, you know what the Beltline is. So even though I like this guy, I really couldn't even focus on my relationship, or not relationship. I couldn't really focus and be all in and to getting to know this person because I'm still hurting. That's another story time. But that guy became my boyfriend. So that is my boyfriend that I have been with for 2 years, right? And I have to tell you about that because he is a stand-up guy. Like it was hard. We dated for I think like 7 months before we made it official, even though he was ready and he knew I was the one and he knew I would be his wife and this and that. I still and I knew too, but I'm still trying to mourn this relationship. And this is why I say don't jump into something else to get over something else because you may think this is going to be a rebound person, but that next person you meet may be the person for you. And let me tell you, it is very hard to learn someone, try to develop feelings for someone while you are mourning something else, right? It was a challenge. It was a challenge. So let's see. I've been talking for like 20 minutes, trying to see if there's anything else I missed. But I will be honest with you guys. I've been in a relationship for 2 years. Crazy, but it took a year and a half of those 2 years for me to get over my ex. It did. And like I said, nothing but time. If you have to go to therapy, go to therapy. But if you're suffering from a breakup right now, all I'm going to say is it's going to get better. And I hated watching videos where people were like, oh, it's going to get better. You're going to get over it. Because you're in the throes of it right now, right? You're so hurt. You cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I promise you, it will get better. And you will be okay. And this is how I know women are strong and we can be strong. I did not know my strength until I left someone that I loved. When you leave a situation that is good, it's easy to leave a situation when things are bad, when that person is cheating, when that person is treating you bad. But when your relationship is full of love at that time, there's nothing wrong. You guys are best friends. Do you know how much strength it takes to leave a relationship that is good? Even though looking back it wasn't good, but in that moment it was great. Okay? But I knew my worth long enough. I knew my worth enough to walk away from a good situation. And that's how I was like, oh my, I am so strong, okay? Because that is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. But when I did it, although it hurt, I knew it was the right decision. I never not once thought about getting back with that person. Even though we talked, we tried to do the friend thing, but I knew in my soul, in my heart that I can't be with this person, right? This is not right for me. And I just want to say to anyone that is in a situation, because we as women, we know deep in our hearts when something is not right. We know when we deserve more. But we will stay because of love and in the end be hurt. And I'm just here to tell you that if you know you deserve better and you know your worth, do not settle for anything. And just from personal experience and my testimony, leaving that relationship, I found the man that has given me more than any man has ever given me, besides my father, right? Which my father and my parents approve of him, and his family approves of me, and he takes such good care of me. And I have never had, besides my father, I have never had a man love me the way this man loves me. The sacrifices that this man has made for me. The reason I have my own business now and I'm not in corporate America is because of him. Because he told me to quit, I'll take care of you, and I just want you to be happy and you follow your dreams. That would have never happened with my ex-boyfriend. You hear me? Because he didn't have a real job. Okay? And y'all, I'm telling you, I leveled up, okay? I did a Sierra Russell Wilson prayer, honey. And let me tell you, you write down exactly what you want in a man. You write that down and you look at it every day and you manifest that, and God will bless you with that. But you cannot be blessed with that if you settle, right? The right man cannot walk into the door if the wrong man is blocking it. So this is getting kind of lengthy. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. But this is just a little preview of what this channel, we're going to be talking about stuff like that. We're going to be talking about relationships, things that affect the community, the Black community in particular. We're going to talk about all of that. So if you guys have any other topics that you would like me to cover, please drop them below. And thank you so much for watching this channel. And I hope to see you guys in the next, well, no, I hope to see you guys when I do my next video. Bye. Oh.